keep saying you've got something for me, something you call love, but confess you've been a messin' where you shouldn't been a messin', yeah. Now someone else is getting all your best. These boots are made for walking, that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you. Yeah. You keep lying when you ought to be truthin'. You keep losing, well you ought to not bet. You keep saying when you ought to be a-changin'. Now what's right is right, you ain't been right yet. These boots are made for walking, that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you. You keep playing where you shouldn't be playing, and you keep thinking that you'll never get burned. Ha! I just found me a brand new box of matches, yeah. What he knows you ain't had time to learn. These boots are made for walking, that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you. Are you ready, Boots? Start walking.
It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the AMP Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe on a beautiful Thursday afternoon.
Thursday afternoon.
I gotta tell you, when Jojo's in town, there's always a party.
I'm looking at all that bottle, all those wine bottles
We're
next to you. And I'm thinking about what happened to our crew yesterday after the cocktail concierge.
What the hell was that?
After the cocktail concierge was here in studio. You know, I think I'm old, so I pace myself, but apparently our crew does not pace themselves. And they were feeling it late last night.
What are you talking about? They had one drink.
Apparently they had more than one.
How can you get plastered on one drink? You had two?
They had a few. They all had two.
And
you had none. So what's it like to be in a room full of everyone who had a drink except you?
Well, hold on. Back in the day, it was like Dean Martin, right? And Jojo was here. Back in the day, Freddie had 14.
But not yesterday. You had nothing.
I had none. But I got to see the doctor tomorrow. I got to be a good boy.
Yeah, but you got to watch everybody else fall asleep, do their thing.
I didn't see that. I was focused.
I didn't either.
Every night.
Right, Jojo has the bar.
At a restaurant, the way people's personalities change when they first come in.
Oh my God.
When they leave, it's incredible.
But I didn't notice that yesterday because we were just having fun. The crew. You're the one that was mixologist.
I only had a half of my drink, and I didn't even drink the mimosa. We gave that away, and then we had leftover champagne, Prosecco.
I gave that away too.
When you hear
Those are
Prosecco,
the
what do you
days.
think about?
You said this yesterday.
Jojo.
She says to me that when we were around, when we started this like 7 years ago, we had Prosecco every day. Is that
Every
true?
day.
Oh, yeah.
Every day.
I still can't drink it. I have a hard time.
I like
That's all
burned a
that.
hole in my stomach, I think.
We
back
had a good
then.
time,
We
though.
had fun,
I don't
though.
even
We had a
like
good time.
Every day.
I don't like it. Yeah, that
Every day.
Prosecco yesterday, this Prosecco, yesterday, actually was pretty good.
It was really good.
Because it's smooth. It ain't that hard Prosecco.
With that aftertaste.
We think how many bottles we went through
When?
back in the day.
Apparently every day.
Fair.
Is that true?
And we even had some backup in the refrigerator in the coffee room.
Yes,
We drank that one. We didn't drink that one.
we did.
No, we didn't.
And you couldn't save it to the next day because
it goes flat.
it goes
Because
bad.
it was open.
So it was it's a new bottle every day.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of that.
That's because you were
Because
drinking
you drank
every
too
day.
much of it. That's why you don't remember.
But we're watching the crew in the group chat last night.
This one.
This
And
one.
she's hungover.
And Kennedy.
I got a headache. My head
And
hurts.
Kennedy too, who says nothing apparently. It got to her as well.
She's standing over there on the gate. I'm like, what is wrong with her?
But
she
they
was
had
like
fun.
blitz.
But I got to tell you, Tracy's a whole lot of fun from Cocktail Concierge Co. Check it out for your next party, your next event. You can find her all over social media. She pours a good drink.
And she goes up your way, Jojo.
So I was thinking we could come up with your way one day, your day one way. I'm still thinking it, your way
I
one
think
day,
she's still drunk.
and bring Tracy up and have some fun at the
That could
Cheers
be
bar.
fun.
Didn't you want to do like a battle of the bartenders
Yeah.
or something? We could do that.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Or I'll have a guest bartender.
That'd be fun.
And she could do some of her mixology skills.
Should you do it or no? We probably want to see an attractive woman. You're not an attractive
I always
woman.
like to give the ladies something to look
I
at.
thought,
Oh, she wants to give the ladies something to look at. So now, when you're very nice, svelte self,
I
you
mean,
should
I
do
could,
it.
I could get in.
Svelte.
I can get into my
He
woman.
doesn't know what that means, so
I
it's
don't.
safe.
I don't. I can get into my woman costume.
No. Jojo,
Oh, I
dressed
got a wig
up
for
once.
you.
Remember the wig and the mustache?
I do.
And I had the mustache, the fake
Yeah.
mustache.
Oh my God, that
was
was not
fun.
good.
I think I
Why?
still have those pictures in my phone.
No, keep them there. We don't need to expose that.
But it was a whole lot of fun yesterday. So contact Tracy, and Jojo's in the house. She's been here all day hanging out with us because we're excited that we're putting together some concert venues with you.
Yes, we are.
Which
I'm
is really
hoping.
awesome.
I hope he wakes up. Cintorn.
William Cintorn.
He's supposed to be calling
William!
in. He's supposed to be mixing in. So we'll see if he does it.
We'll see. Our
You
first
might
event.
be trying to figure out how to do it, because even though I know how to, sometimes I have a hard time.
Well, our first event is October 12th down at the Savor Cinema in Fort Lauderdale with Bee Gees tribute, Staying Alive. Not Staying Alive,
Do-
Jive Talking, sorry.
Do you know that the Bee Gees are part of the changing music history of this country? Because they started disco. You know, that movie, what was the name of the movie?
Saturday Night Fever.
Was the #1 movie for the longest. And I try to explain to people because the kids don't remember Saturday Night Fever.
I think it's sort of pop culture. I can't imagine them not knowing it though.
Well, you know, if you put out a Dracula movie, everybody goes to the movies. It doesn't matter if you know Dracula or not, but that's a pop culture thing. Everybody goes, right? The Bee Gees at a time were pop culture. Everybody used to hang around with them.
Oh my
What color
gosh.
was the suit
White,
that Travolta wore? And what color was the shirt?
black.
Blue.
Black.
Is black.
I gotta tell you something. You could be married 40 years and you never remember what your husband wore on his wedding day.
Not
What did
unless
Chuck
you-
wear?
A white
What,
jacket.
what color was the suit? He had a
Or-
jacket?
Or was it? Yeah, a tuxedo.
I don't even remember what I wore. I think I was white for one wedding and black for the other.
You can be red
Should
for
have
the
been
next.
red.
If I ever get married again, I'm going to do a Halloween one and be like the Bride of Frankenstein. Make
That-
everybody dress
See
up.
it.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, announcement. Jojo's getting married again?
No.
Didn't you just say that?
Oh,
Yeah,
no. I said
no.
if I ever did.
If she ever did again. Not
If
even.
I
Gotta make it
ever
fun.
did again.
But you've seen Willie sing. and You've got great
Oh,
music venues up at Cheers.
I do. I do.
You're driving me crazy, by the way.
Why?
Because you have such great acts. And then she goes, oh, they're in Vegas. Oh, they're in New York.
Yes,
oh,
but
they're
they
in...
come here and they tour. So if I could reach out to them, find when they're coming, I can have them. You know, they're not the kind of
Great
acts that you
venues.
could say, are you doing anything next Saturday night? You know?
Josh, where's your mic? Michael Jackson, we showed it to Josh, and Josh says, that's Michael Jackson, the guy you have.
It was good.
Yep. He's
If,
really good.
if the crew likes it, you know we're good.
And my Kenny Rogers. Tim
Freddie said he
Sells
was
is phenomenal.
amazing.
He's phenomenal.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
That guy.
Tim, I'm going to be calling you.
And no, and your Adele and your Cher, Holy smokes.
So what do you think? Would you do a whole night with, say, Kenny Rogers, or you would do Kenny Rogers and Friends? Or how would you put it together?
I would probably do, like, for the Rat Pack, of course, there'd be 3.
Right.
Kenny Rogers, could he carry his own? Absolutely. But you could put him, I could put him with a Dolly Parton, you know.
Right.
But I
Which would be
wouldn't put him
fun.
with, like, a Frank Sinatra.
Right. No, it'd have to be with.
Yeah, something
Lionel
that goes with-
Richie.
Exactly.
And Kenny Rogers. Do you know the concert they put together was
That's like putting
worldwide?
Selena and Hailey Bieber together.
Well, those two guys, they actually in real life did something together was tremendous.
Haley Bieber's one of the top models in the new Vogue piece also.
I know.
So they've
I'm
got
a
some of the
huge Selena
throwbacks.
fan. I love her. I
Really?
just love her music.
Oh God, don't tell me. I'm getting flashbacks.
To what?
Juji went to the movies to see Selena 37 times. He was so heartbroken when she was murdered.
No, I'm talking about Selena Gomez, not that Selena.
What Selena are you talking about? I don't even
Selena
know what
Gomez?
Selena.
So you watched So the Murders in the
I know what
Building?
you're talking about. What?
You watched Murders in the Building?
Yes.
What
I
is
watched it.
that?
But I
Who
just
is
like her. I
that?
like her music.
Who?
Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez.
Not
And who am I
Selena.
talking about?
Selena.
There's only
When
one
you're ready,
Selena.
come and get it. No,
No, there's Selena
That's all-
Gomez,
that's
and then
Selena.
there's Selena. Selena Gomez was like a Disney star.
No, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I want to see the other
She
Selena.
was. She was on the Barney show. That's,
that
I
what
think,
she was
I
on?
think that's how she got her start from the Barney show.
That's
So you watched The
crazy.
Purple Dinosaur, and that's how you got hooked on this chick?
No, I got hooked on listening to her on Alexa. Play the best
Selena
of this.
Gomez?
Yeah.
You know Selena Gomez?
Yes.
Yeah, of
She's
course you
great.
do.
I got you
Yes,
hooked on.
Yes, you do.
I play her at the restaurant all the time.
Interesting.
Do you
She
play?
was dating Justin Bieber. You know who that is, right?
Oh, she was dating him too?
She was dating Justin Bieber, and then,
And then he married Haley
then he
Bieber?
married Haley. Like 2 months later, they got
Her
engaged
name
or
was
something.
Haley Beaver?
No.
No, Haley
How
Baldwin.
would you like your last name to be Beaver?
Bieber.
Baldwin was her name.
Baldwin Beaver?
Bieber. See, that's why he
Jesus.
likes the oldies. That's why we let him stay with the oldies. And
These boots are made for walking,
all of
baby.
that good stuff.
Beaver. Beaver this.
No, you go old school.
Now that's funny.
It's funny, right?
You know, it's funny. The crew is putting together all the banners, and you're so old school. You think everyone knows who Dean and Frank are.
You got to be kidding me. You know
Okay,
something?
so
I'm about
listen.
to run out of here.
So you gave it to them as Frank Dean,
No.
without the power of the comma.
Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin.
So you have to be clear to the new generation. The power of
And don't
Josh.
forget
punctuation.
Sammy. don't
Josh, I
forget
got to be
Dejan.
clear. They don't know the difference?
No, they should know the difference.
Frank Dean,
Yeah,
I got to tell you,
You
something
think?
funny.
they do now.
well, I hope they do.
We had a Neil Diamond tribute at the restaurant,
Wow.
and one of the waitresses said to me, "Who's Neil Diamond?" I said, "Boy, do I feel
Wow.
old." Or she had no idea who it was.
I heard his Broadway show is amazing.
Killer.
That would be a good one to go to see in New York.
You know, she's traveling to all the shows. She went to see,
Lionel Richie, Earth, Wind, and Fire,
and now she's going to see.
Bruno Mars.
You're going to see Bruno Mars?
Yes.
Where? Here?
Here, Hard Rock,
Mm-hmm.
end of October.
Awesome.
I know.
So I have to postpone things I want to do. I'm still doing December 6th.
Okay. You should do December 6th. I think December 6th is going to be a great event.
You won't be there
Why not?
because you're going to see Bruno.
In October.
You told me December.
No.
Oh, I guess.
I
you'll be
think
there.
it's a great event that we're going to do December 6th at Movies of Delray. It's called the Yiddish Papas, and it's a klezmer band with
the Papa
Georgie.
Papas.
With Georgie, and it's the first night of Hanukkah is December 7th, so it kicks it off at December 6th, the holiday season. It should be sold out at Movies of Delray. She's definitely going to need the 200-seater for that one.
It's gypsy songs in the Jewish culture.
That's
Like
interesting.
Charlie Chaplin was a gypsy. A lot of people you know were gypsies. You know, you're going to have to move that painting because I keep looking over there like somebody's sitting there. That becomes
She
very
is sitting.
eerie.
You put her there.
I didn't put it there. I put it in the other place. Somebody else put it there.
Tracy brought that in. She got it at an estate sale. She talks to you, doesn't she?
No, she just looks at me, and it's funny because
Like
the
the
head.
eyes move when you
The, no, the head was leaning the other way.
She
Now all of a sudden-
100%. She talks. She moves. Yes.
Now the head is leaning.
And
the
I
other
looked
way.
at her and I said, I don't know if she's black or white. I think, and Tracy brought it in and says, why do you think that? How would you know? She said, it's
me see it.
labeled, it's labeled Virginia. So she's definitely from the South.
I see a little Asian in that with the almond eyes.
That's how. That's actually.
Asian.
That's actually
The Mona
her
Lisa?
when she was younger.
It's interesting how everyone just brings in their artwork, right? You know, and there she is. I don't know. It would be interesting to find out who she is, don't you think? Can you imagine if underneath you find out there's this a beautiful like Renoir or something?
Where is the
That's right.
piece that Jay?
It's from Naoma Whitehead,
We should look it up.
artist on the back.
Ah.
Where is the piece?
look her up.
What year
You
is
have to
that
do a fact
made?
check on that.
Is that a year?
It ain't focusing. It ain't focusing.
You have it. What year is that, Josh? Does it say on there?
No. It has an address and the title is called Alma.
Alma,
Where's the piece that Jay Harmon did of you?
my house.
What?
I took her home.
Why?
Because how many times do people want to see a picture of me with my name on it in the studio?
But that wasn't the agreement.
Why not? He told me to take it home.
Anyway,
It's
let's.
hanging in my house. You
I
know what
know.
that was like to hang a picture of myself in the house? You
I
shouldn't be
don't
there for that
know.
conversation.
Did you talk to the hammer and say, okay, you're gonna hit the nail, and
Kind of pretty much had to find where she goes.
you did it when I got sick. You took it home, right?
No, I took it home on a Friday afternoon. A few
That's when I
weeks
was
ago.
sick.
No, you were here.
I want to talk about the restaurant because now you bought a second restaurant.
We're actually leasing it from the county.
But this guy, you're a real piece of work. You know that? Not for nothing.
She's gonna
He's going to
watch
put it
over
right where
you.
you can see it now.
Forget the deck room.
Kind of
Look at
spooking you
Alma.
out.
I want people to call 888-994-4995, Studio 8. I want you to ask for Josh. I don't care what you want, just ask for Josh. He'll wash your car. He'll do some sound stuff for you. Just call. The man is handy, and he's waiting for your phone call. So you just bought a second restaurant.
We're leasing it from the county.
Okay, what's the name of the second one?
It's going to be Cheers on the Ocean. It's right on the beach. I mean, right on the ocean.
So this is
So
only
it's like
breakfast and
a
lunch?
concession, only breakfast and lunch. People come up to the window. I think we're going to do some homemade ice creams.
Ooh.
Chef Gary makes homemade ice cream. That's
Same
absolutely
chef. You're going to
phenomenal.
have him at both locations.
Yeah. Well, he comes with a group of chefs, you know, because obviously you can't work 7 days a week. So they
Wow.
all can do, you know, what he can do.
You should put wild ices in there. We should give
Well,
you
like,
that
like an
number.
Italian ice, like Rita's type of Italian ice.
It's a little different, his stuff. It's,
Wild ice?
Wow.
Wow ice.
It's a line of ice cream.
He has ices and ice cream, right? He has
Tell
both?
him to reach out to me.
I am. I'm
can do that.
gonna get you his number. Nice guy. Played for the Eagles. He got married at the stadium at the 50-yard line.
Wow.
It was funny. Just when I think you don't remember people's names.
I don't know
good.
his name. I don't even know
He
your
remembers
name.
the situation, but not
He
the
knows
name.
the situation. He forgot the Prosecco,
No,
though.
because she's gonna be doing ice cream and stuff. This is like a fun
Yeah.
place.
On the beach, it'll
On
be
the
so
beach.
much fun.
Yeah. You just don't.
Yeah,
don't
you can walk right up from the beach.
You're gonna have hot dogs and hamburgers.
hot dogs, hamburgers, Philly cheesesteak.
Wow.
The best thing is I finally found a place where I can get the New York rolls, like the hard rolls with the seeds on them. We're gonna be doing breakfast with that. Bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches.
You're gonna have those long Italian breads for the Philly cheesesteak.
Well, we could, but we'll cut them because you
You
can't
cut
make that
them?
long.
You love having a restaurant?
I do. You know, it's got its moments. It's got its moments, but you know, I love the people that come in. I get to see everybody. If anyone's ever been up in Melbourne Beach for a long period of time, there's really not a lot to do. So if you don't have something to do, you will be sure to become a 600-pound alcoholic. 'Cause that's all there is to do is eat and drink.
Eat and drink.
But it's funny when you're in it, like I am, you don't care to do it as much. You know, it's like working at McDonald's. The last thing you're going to want is a hamburger. If that makes any
you
sense.
never owned a restaurant before.
No, but I
mean, you
ran this one
managed
for
it.
him for a while. Owning it is much different.
Is it?
As you know, you got to deal with the other issues.
Yeah, you got to deal with everything.
Yeah, but everybody knows your name, right? So when you took
They do.
over, they still
They
knew
do.
your name.
Yeah.
They just know more of you now. Because you're there 7 days a week.
No. Sometimes I go home. I'm not there 7 days a week. I'm not there now.
But you pop in every
a
once
lot.
in a while.
Of course. But I have a great group of people that work for me that I can leave alone for some time. You know, a night or a day, or if I
It's a great
go out of
restaurant.
town. Yeah,
It's
you came up.
amazing. I'd never been there. Freddie, Freddie had been there, and since you were there when we went, you had totally redone the place.
Yes. Repainted everything, redid the bathrooms.
You made it bigger. When I
No,
was
not
there,
really
it was
bigger.
smaller.
Not really bigger, just neater. You know, we did like the tabletops and things like that.
And now you've got the whole back bar area.
The
You
whole
can turn
back
it into
bar
something
area. I
else.
think I may make that an oyster bar.
Are you using that back?
Right now, we're using it just for the service to roll their silverware and the stuff that they do. But it really is unutilized space that we should use it for something. But next time I come down, I'm going to bring you some of Gary's homemade desserts.
Oh my
I was going
gosh.
to tell you, why don't you get plaster moldings and make that a dessert bar so people can order?
I could do
desserts?
that. I could do that. But, you know, a lot of people are asking me to do breakfast there also, like a brunch on Saturday and
Well,
Sunday.
you can't do that because now you're competing.
I
against
can,
yourself.
but because it's right up the road, it's something entirely different. I could serve mimosas in one, Bloody Marys in one. I can't in the other. I'm not going to have a liquor license or beer and wine license on the beach, which I really don't want to, because when people go to the beach,
They bring their
they
own.
bring their own alcohol. So
You
I don't
get
want
to
them
walk to the beach from this new place?
It's almost like, remember when we were at Sands? Remember I took the picture of
Yes.
you and Linda, where we sat and had breakfast?
Yes.
It's right like that for a walk to the beach, just right there.
That place Sands. Where is it? Where was it?
When you pull out of my place, you make a left instead of a right where you guys went when you went home. You take it, as soon as the road starts to curve, it's on the right-hand side.
I thought it was in the city.
No,
That's
it was
really
literally
creepy.
up the road.
Oh.
And everyone's
But it's
just
funny when you don't know
hanging out.
when you don't know where you're going, everything seems so far away.
Oh my gosh. When we got off of 95 and I thought, oh, we're here, but I know we're not here. And it was still an hour from 95 to you.
That's the longest point, right?
Yeah.
Getting from the highway to A1.
Well, we went past you. We had to come back.
Yeah.
'Cause I
Yeah,
remember
because
there
you
was a
didn't make the
bridge.
right-hand turn.
Yeah, we missed the
Off,
the
yeah.
turn.
We never saw it.
I should have told you 518.
We
I
got to
think
get
I-
a sign that says
She
this
gave
way
us
to
the wrong
JoJo's.
street name.
No, I think I told
Nina.
you to make a right on Wabasso.
You said
but
like
the sign
510.
says 518.
You told us 510. There wasn't one. So we
I'm
saw
Puerto Rican. You
518
think
and we
I'm gonna
kept
remember
going. We thought the
Babaso?
numbers
Yeah.
were going to go down.
Yeah.
No.
I'm gonna
I
remember
tend to do that.
Babaso.
I tend to do that.
Babaso.
Just know to JoJo it's 518, not 510.
How come you didn't put it in your GPS like you Google? It
We
take you
did.
that way.
It took us to Orlando.
Did not.
Boots were made for walking. He just wanted to keep walking.
I know. My directions are made for driving.
But the place is dynamite, and the company is even better. Your barkeep and your the guy in the back cooking is nice people.
Gary.
When are we opening up the next set of music venues, right? We're going to do here and there.
I'm working on up there. I got 3 on the hook that want to get involved, and one was just way out of the ballpark.
But we
I thought-
need, what, to set up your cameras? We got to set the whole system
We're going to
up.
be doing that very shortly. By next week, you'll have all that. We
Oh,
can order
wow.
everything. Because I think you have my computer stuff here, right?
I don't have it here. It's
But you have it.
It's in Tampa, so he can drive it
because
over.
we need the
Gio has it?
camera to program it, and then
Okay.
Gio's going to drive over to you and put it in.
Okay. Are you guys going to come up and then
We
spend the
should.
day?
We should. That's the day we should bring up
Bring them all
Tracy and everything. Let's just have a coming out party and what have you. The other thing
up.
is
You won't, they can't drive, though. You're going to have to drive because
get
they're
a
going to
van.
drink.
Why can't they drive?
Because they're going to be drinking.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'll
after
rent a
yesterday,
U-Haul.
I can't let them drive home.
put a U after yesterday. Let's
Yeah.
rent a van, a U-Haul,
Could do that.
and put them in the back.
A
Ever-
U-Haul?
Have you ever been in the back of a U-Haul? Do you know what the smell is like? Ugh.
What's it smell like?
Ugh.
Dawn?
Like just bad.
You could put incense in the back. I have G-Man. He'll.
Bad. Aaron moved from one location to another in Miami. They rented a U-Haul, so they were moving their furniture. The smell, I'm like, oh my.
They had a smelly U-Haul. They probably moved fish or something. You gotta wash
Oh,
it.
that's gross.
It's just, you just never know what's inside the U-Haul, is all I can tell you.
It's funny. Whenever I walk into the seafood place to get the lobsters and stuff, I'm always like this, and they laugh at me. Can't stand that smell.
I'm like, look how much I mean, since we met JoJo and she was running board for us and you were running wires and we did all that stuff, now you've got one more restaurant coming. That's
know.
amazing.
No, but she always was good in business.
To see-
JoJo was always good in business.
Well,
no
to
matter
see
what
the
she-
evolution, I was watching the thing on Naomi Campbell this morning. They were talking about the evolution of women. And you start with, and men as well, but this was about Naomi Campbell, so it was about women. When she started modeling at 14, and where she is now as a mother and a supermodel and a businesswoman and an entrepreneur,
Yep.
you get to see people grow and evolve and change into what the next stage of life is.
Right. Exactly.
And we get to watch JoJo do all of these great things and now work
We got
together
some
in a
good stuff
different way.
coming.
I'm excited.
The hardest thing is to keep JoJo's attention because she gets bored easily. And she knows, no, not sometimes. But this is a challenge for you because every day is a different day.
Different people, different
Now
stuff.
she's going to add to the mix and make it even more complicated because she'll have 2 places.
Why don't we take a commercial break, check and see where Willie is, and come back. We're going to talk about the evolution of Nina also. More to come.
Evolution of
Very
Nina.
interesting lady sitting over there.
Let's do that.
Yes.
More to come on the other side of this commercial break. Give us a call, Ask for Freddie, 888-994-4995. Studio A, he'll be answering the phone over there.
Hello, Lucy.
Cheers on the beach. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. AMP2 Media Productions, in collaboration with True Oldies Radio and Comcast TV, bring you the opportunity to spotlight your business on Monday Night Football on ESPN. By targeting your preferred Comcast region, your commercial will be spotlighted during NFL and NCAA football season, reaching over 1 million viewers. Let AMP help you amplify your impact in the community. Contact us at 866-224-5422 to create your own commercial today.
If you're tired of only working for your money and are ready to get your money working for you, then check this out. This is the Transact card, the first of its kind Visa bank card where you double your dollars on every transaction. Transact card provides you with a system for your money finally works for you. The days of underwhelming 1% to 2% cashback are over. Are you ready to welcome in dollar for dollar rewards, doubling your buying power and creating financial momentum? Look, if you've been trying to save your way to wealth and that isn't working out the way you hope, maybe it's time to try spending your way to wealth instead. Learn more at gman.mytzt.com. That is gman.mytzt.com.
Do you have an idea for a show or a podcast? Do you want the opportunity to be on TV? AMP Media Productions is partnered with True Oldies Real Radio Station and powered by many online platforms such as Roku, Facebook, YouTube, and even Amazon Fire to help amplify your impact. Do you want your voice to reach a wide audience? Call us today at 866-224-5422.
There is no way to ignore it. You hear it on the news, online, from your friends and family. What happened to my money? Whether it got hit by falling stocks and bonds, with the coronavirus, shrunk by a floundering 401k with low interest rates, and is riding the extreme ups and downs of the stock market with political elections. Many Americans are worried about their money and how they're going to retire. Help protect your financial future now and call J.D. Melberg for your complimentary book from a leading financial firm that shows you ways not to run out of money whether the market goes up or down. This free book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms that can protect your money for a lifetime. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report summarizing the rates and benefits of annuities from hundreds of top-rated insurers, helping you to find ways to get up to 33% more income in retirement. That's right. 2 books, both absolutely free, for calling J.D. Melberg. Help protect your financial future.
Call 877-643-3015.
Le Sorel Restaurant, home of the authentic Italian tradition, offers a large menu that consists of seafood, steak, homemade pasta, brick oven pizza, and homemade desserts including a wide wine selection. We also have the best bar in Boca Raton with delicious cocktails, homemade limoncello, cappuccino, Italian espresso, brandy, and other specialties, open every day with a lunch and dinner menu. For more information or to make a reservation, contact lesorelrestaurant.com or call 561-235-5301.
South Florida's Good Time Oldies. Now, Boca and Delray Beach have their own oldie station. Catch us on 95.3 FM. It's the greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s. On South Florida's Good Time Oldies, 95.3 FM.
AMP Media Productions is excited to announce our expansion into North Miami. With our experienced team of radio and TV professionals, we are dedicated to bringing North Miami the highest quality audio and visual production services. Whether you need radio or television commercials, podcasts, music videos, or audio and visual storytelling, we can provide the solutions to help you reach your goals. Our team is reliable, innovative, and creative, and we're ready to help you develop the perfect product. With our competitive rates and personalized service, you can trust that your project is in the best hands. Contact us today to get started on your project. 866-224-5422.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
To love somebody the way I love you. You don't know what it's like. Baby, you don't know what it's like to love somebody the way I love you. To love somebody the way I love you.
That's Mr. Willie.
That's the music of Willie Cintorn. Jive Talking, we've got coming to you live right here at the Savor Cinema in Fort Lauderdale on Thursday, October 12th, with not one, but two shows, one at 6 and one at 8. I'm really excited, and the crew was excited. You know how we ended up with the Bee Gees? We gave the crew two choices last week, Bee Gees or Frankie Valli, and they all looked and said, Bee Gees. It was like a no-brainer. They wanted the Bee Gees, so maybe I had Betsy come with a cookie dough to the Bee Gees. That'd be kind of fun, right?
The Bee Gees, what is it?
Happy-licious.
Happy-licious.
Eat my balls?
No, it says lick my balls.
No, I don't think it was lick. I think it was eat.
Eat my balls. That's what the sign is. That's what it says.
So her original cookie dough, it's edible raw cookie dough because it's made with no eggs. And the original packaging was all little cookie balls. So that was her tagline until she put it in jars. And we may have had jars, but the crew ate all the different flavors. She even has boozy cookie dough. And you can eat it raw with a spoon right out of the jar. Amazing.
It's delicious.
Delicious. So I have to thank Jojo. You want to introduce Willie?
Let's bring Willie over.
Let's bring Willie over. Am I able to see him? Yep, as soon as he comes over.
Mr. Willie.
And there he is.
Willie, hi. Do you remember me? I don't hear him. It's Jojo. I got the hat on. I may be throwing you off.
I need sound.
Where does he live? Where is he based out of?
I'm out of Orlando.
You're in Orlando. Okay, so you're not too far away.
Orlando, can you hear me?
We hear you.
I'm pretty far out there. I'm about, 240 miles from you?
You don't sound like you're from Orlando. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, of course. He talks like you.
He sounds like a
Brooklyn.
From Brooklyn.
Yeah, I want my coffee.
Well, we got a bag for you, for sure.
We got a bag of coffee for you.
Coffee. How you doing, guys?
How you doing, Willie?
We're doing great. We're
Doing
really
good.
excited to have you joining us on October 12th at Savor Cinema.
Yeah, I'm excited too, I'll tell you.
How long have you been singing and doing different acts?
Oh, man, I've been singing since I was a kid in New York, listening to just about every radio station, but I love most my WBLS, my soul, my R&B, Motown, soft rock. You know, I love my Frankie Valli tunes and the Bee Gees and Billy Joel, Elton John, everything like that.
I like the room he's in. I like the pink hearts and the drapes.
WBLS in
Yeah,
New York
picture-
City was the
That was a
station.
hit station.
That was
Yeah?
that was a hit
Yeah,
station.
BLS, yeah.
Yep, BLS.
How did you meet Jojo?
And don't forget WKTU also, the disco.
Of course.
Jojo, I met Jojo in Melbourne
Yes.
at the restaurant there, and I performed there many times.
My Frankie Valley. That's what you do. Frankie
Jojo, how
Valley.
you doing, Jojo?
I'm good, sweetheart. I can't wait to see you in person again.
Gonna be soon. Gonna be soon.
I know. I can't wait.
We were talking about
Yep.
how the Bee Gees changed music history, pop culture with disco.
Yep, quite a difference from the 60s. I mean, you listen to the music of the 60s of the Bee Gees, and it fits more like the Beatles type of music. And then all of a sudden, in the 70s, they were offered to sing those disco songs, and that's what made them history.
The Saturday Night Fever movie it turned the course. I know guys that watched that movie like 20 times.
The dancing, the hustle, all of it.
Well, there was also in New York, if you were from New York, the place that they filmed that thing was true. It was out in Queens. And it was unbelievable. You couldn't even get into the Space Odyssey place. It was so packed. It was ridiculous. And then, of course, everybody started hanging out on the Whitestone Bridge because they had the scene on the bridges as well. And I remember that my uncle was a cop, and they used to try to arrest everybody because they used to hang out on the bridges to take pictures and everything. It was crazy.
Totally changed everything. What do you prefer to do, or any of them? You do Frankie Valley, you do Bee Gees. You've got a lot of different genres that you perform.
A lot of different genres. I started with the Frankie Valley Four Seasons about 15 years ago, and I started the band. And I guess we started doing the Four Seasons songs before the Jersey Boys came out. But we've been performing the Four Seasons at least 15 years. And then I told the same guys in my band, I told them, why don't we jump into another tribute? And I keep thinking, what can I do since I can hit the high note of Frankie Valley? I thought of doing, you can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can. I decided, why don't we jump into the Bee Gees since I can do the voice of Barry Gibb. And that's how we started doing our Bee Gees on top of the Frankie Valley.
It's so amazing because I hear you talking now in this interview, but then we get to hear you hit those high notes of Barry Gibb and the Bee Gees. And I'm like, holy cow, your voice is not like that talking to you right now.
I know, I can't believe it either. It's like I shocked my own self. I also do tributes. I also do tributes to Dean Martin, so that's why I guess I keep my lower voice.
He's got a voice
I love
range that's incredible.
Yeah, I love my Dean Martin. I love my Sinatra, Tony Bennett. I also do Engelbert Humperdinck and Tom Jones, so a whole mix of songs. Hey, don't forget, I even do Elvis.
No, I'm going to tell you, on the phone, when I was talking to him, he gave me a little sample of Mark Anthony. And I was like, I looked at my phone and said, holy smokes, that little sample you made was unbelievable.
You got the video, yes? Or the audio?
I didn't get the audio. You didn't send me the audio. I got the clip on the phone when you sang a little part of Mark Anthony to me on the phone. I was like, damn, this guy is freaking good, man.
Wow.
Freddie, I sent you a video, audio of me singing Nadie Como Ella, Mark Anthony.
I think you're right. I think you did send it to me.
Nadie Como Ella.
I think yes. And my goodness, this guy can bring it. Because I love Mark Anthony. As a matter of fact, on Monday, his assistant is going to be on the show.
Ah, very nice.
She's going to be on the show on Monday.
And I think you're going to be here on Monday.
He's going to be here Monday.
Yeah, Monday, but you got to tell me what time. I want to be there early.
Well, you'll talk to him after the show.
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, that way we get the other thing out of the way.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, 1 o'clock, and then we got some film work to do with you and stuff like that. But I got to tell you, I love tribute bands, and this lady has brought in all the talent in the world that we want to do this. And they're at 6 and 8 o'clock at 12. I want to thank Charlotte Luswig, which is a number one, her too. Number one fan already bought her ticket, which is really cool. This is really freaking me out. I keep thinking there's somebody standing there. He put the painting over there.
One of our crew put a painting right behind the camera, so it looks like there's a person standing there watching over you like an angel.
No, not quite, but thank you for playing.
What's your favorite Bee Gees song to do?
Oh my goodness. I love most nights on Broadway. And of course, How Deep Is Your Love? I mean, there's a whole slew of songs that I love the most. So Nights on Broadway is one of them.
It's going to be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it. And everyone who sees me putting out these social media posts, you got the Bee Gees coming. You've got the Bee Gees coming. Yes, the Bee Gees tribute. They are coming. So mark your calendars. Get your tickets at events.amp2.tv. $30. And I think we should do a group discount also. Let's throw that out.
We could put that out there. We have to change everything.
No, we just add
We
to
just
it.
have to add to it.
Just add to it.
There's also going to be a side venue to the theater where we're going to have networking, and you can meet the singers. You can take pictures. There's going to be a red carpet out there as well.
Big fun.
It's going to be really, really a lot of fun. And Jojo Cheers on the Beach Productions. Is that what we called it? Cheers on the Beach?
There. You can call it whatever you want. It's going to be a great time.
Are you excited to do some production with us now?
I very much am.
Now, Jojo's also looking at some theaters up in Melbourne, and we're going to have the after party at your
And that'll be
place.
closer for you, William, when we do something in Melbourne area.
Yep.
That's like an hour and a half from
Right, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yep.
But before you go, how's your lovely wife? Tell her I said hi. I love
She's
his wife
good.
is
She's
the
good.
sweetest.
She's hooking up some smoothies there, healthy smoothies.
Oh, good.
It's nice. It's a different
Yep.
business, the entertainment business.
It's a whole different deal, you know, that you got to sort of
Because
adapt.
we're in it, but then we're in the business side you do both. We get to do
the everything side.
The opportunity to do both, yeah.
Well, you got to be creative. You got to meet good people. You got to, work with them,
Mm-hmm.
and you sort of have to keep putting stuff out every single day. And you can't take a day off until the event is over. And
Yep.
Kim got carried away because she has all these different events happening. So it's an everyday deal. But, they told
Dawn
me...
got carried away? Really?
And it was his idea, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't my idea.
Yeah.
And if it was, he forgot.
Actually, William, we met because of Jojo. Jojo said, you got to put this guy on. And I said, okay, let's go. So it was Jojo's idea.
And it's funny.
Thank you, Jojo.
This whole world of tribute people, everybody knows everybody. Don't you find that? I mean, like Tim Sells, right? Dejan.
Yep.
Everybody knows everybody, no matter where they are. It's
close to Halloween.
small.
We could.
And you see?
We
But this is what I
could
mean.
have everyone come dressed in their favorite 70s clothes for the Bee Gees. It's in October. Halloween's 2 weeks later. Why not kick it off and do a whole 70s come dressed as your favorite disco era? You could wear JoJo's wig. You can put like an afro on.
How come I got to wear
and,
a wig?
bell bottoms.
No, I'm not wearing no wig. William, help me, please.
That
I'm
could
not
be kinda
wearing
fun.
a wig.
Deborah will come all dressed
Freddie,
up
I'm
in
going to lend you
70s.
mine.
He'll lend you his.
I'm going to lend you mine, Freddie.
Thank you. I'll go as a biker.
I have an extra one.
Willie, thank you so much for joining us. We're looking forward to seeing you here live in studio on Monday.
Bye, Willie.
Oh, thank you. Great.
Thank you, buddy. I'll
Have a
see
great
you.
day.
I'll talk to you soon, honey.
Alrighty, see y'all.
Bye-bye.
Nice guy.
You think it'll be fun? Come dressed in your favorite 70s.
Bell bottoms and hush puppy shoes.
Let's do it.
Marshmallows. Remember the marshmallows that had the white
Yeah.
all around? And you used to wear that with your clouds or your jeans.
Did you ever have a white suit?
Everybody had a white suit. After
Really?
that movie came out, everybody got a white suit.
Really?
I
I
didn't.
have a hard time with white.
I didn't want to wear it.
All over it.
I didn't want to wear it because I
Comes
could
the
never
new
keep it
tie-dye.
clean.
Did you wear your shirts like unbuttoned down to your,
No, Gigi did that.
with all the necklaces, the whole John
Gigi did
Travolta
that.
look?
No, it was the DA. You remember the DA? The duck?
I do.
You know what a DA is? When they move the hair back.
Oh, that ducktail in the back?
That tail in the back?
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing. Gigi used to spend hours on his hair. Hours.
John Travolta thing.
Because he wanted to be John Travolta.
It's kind of cool.
It's funny growing up the things that his music brings back.
I think we can go to a regular mic. I want to talk to Nina before we go to commercial break. We'll go to our 1 o'clock hour because she has graced our studio here since 9 o'clock this morning and had a whole lot of fun. Makeup in this business is always fun. And Nina, Jojo introduced her as a makeup artist, but then I got to talk to her. She has a background in education, which is pretty cool.
Aren't you a teacher?
Yes. How about that?
12 years and nobody ever told me she was a teacher.
I was.
Until a couple of weeks ago, she announced it on the air.
I never knew that either.
But you know how everything always like comes full circle and you're exactly where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. Even when I have my freakouts in the back, I know there's a reason I'm supposed to be doing.
Is that a teacher freakout?
What I'm doing, but I never expected Nina to tell me she was in education before she did makeup. So this lady's got a whole evolution.
You were a teacher?
I was.
Let's get closer to your mic.
Yes, I was. I taught from kindergarten through adults. And
What did you teach?
pretty much everything.
Really?
Yes, but I went back to school after a little bit of time and got my master's degree.
Oh, she got to master.
You told me you did some special ed also.
Yeah, I got my students with disabilities license and got to work with a lot of different people and children and so on.
And then she met me. Now she's doomed.
Did you have a favorite age to teach?
Is it on?
Here, use this one.
No,
No,
she
it
got
is.
it.
Thanks.
Did you have a favorite age to teach, Nina?
Initially, I wanted to work with the older children, and as time went on, I found myself wanting to be with the little ones. So I think like anything else in your career, you want to try everything. So
see what fits best, right?
Exactly.
Well, teaching is kind of cool because, especially you went all the way to adults, so you got to taste every
Yeah.
She
piece
was
of
an
it.
adjunct professor in college.
She was a junkie professor.
Adjunct.
What's an
Anyways.
adjunct?
Part-time.
Part-time. Yeah.
Why didn't you just say part-time? Why you gotta say adjunct?
I think you should be an adjunct professor in School of Communications at
No,
FAU.
I'm just a junkie professor.
Wouldn't he be fun? Imagine
couldn't.
Freddie as your TA, guys.
I couldn't be a professor in college.
Why?
Because I wouldn't do things the way they do them now. I'm sorry. I went to NYU and I disagree with everything they did in there.
I don't think I'd have the patience.
But then you were telling me how the makeup business, the beauty business, and education tie in together. And we didn't get to finish the conversation, but I'm really interested because I would never think that would tie together. Like, you know, what brought me here was communications. I did this, special ed, and somehow
what
the
brought you
platform.
here was blackmail. I blackmailed the person that was going to interview
that too.
you, and that's what brought you here. You didn't know what you were walking into.
True.
And you never gave it a chance.
I never gave what a chance. This?
This.
What do you mean I never gave it a chance? Look at this
Here
place.
she is.
I live and eat and
Jojo,
breathe
you were there 7
this
years
place.
ago.
I know.
Dawn was scared to death because before there we went to IHOP.
She wasn't.
Oh, no, she was.
Jojo was there
She wasn't.
the day we were running
Not
wires.
at iHeart, though.
No.
If you had been in iHeart, you should have seen that she used to sit like this on her hands. and
No, I
talk
was
like
in
this.
iHeart with you the night we were trying to figure everything out when he went away.
Yep.
No, you weren't at iHeart.
That was at the
You-
gallery.
I was.
You were at the gallery.
I came to see
She
you
came
at
to,
the radio
she
station.
met me at NN. That was a week
That's the
to
other.
behold.
That's the
The
other
other one.
station.
The other one.
That was a
iHeart
week.
was north.
Oh, iHeart, no. That was the other one.
iHeart was where I blackmailed her to come on the set because after 4 years of trying to get her to come on the set, she kept telling me no. So somebody else was interviewing her, and I said to that person, "You ain't interviewing nobody if she doesn't do my show first."
But I got to tell you, that week when you were away in PR, Jojo was there, Faith was there, the Dawns were there.
Marco.
And they were with me.
Marco.
Marco
We had
was
a-
there.
What a
Oh my
job.
gosh, the amount of support that everyone gave me that week to get me through it, by the grace of God and all of our family and our friends, got us through that week.
I couldn't even call you guys because I was in Puerto Rico with the hurricane,
Yep.
Yeah.
and I went to bury Mom, and I couldn't call. I didn't know anything that was going on. And then when I came back, I was like,
missed it all.
Holy smokes. They threw wires. You threw wires from one end of the studio to the other.
He now lives in Italy.
Marco?
Marco moved to Italy.
Wow.
His
What
wife
a
wanted to
computer
go back
whiz he
home.
was, right? He was good.
He's real, oh God, as an IT guy, he could still, I can go through WhatsApp, he can log onto my computer and fix things. My
Isn't that
personal
amazing?
computer.
It's amazing.
From Italy.
It was so great. But tell me how education for you and makeup go together. It's fascinating.
I just felt that with education, the thing that was the most rewarding to me was to see the children's and the young adults and older adults' self-esteem increase. They just had more confidence. And I feel it's the same way with makeup, because when someone looks better or feels more confident, their self-esteem will go up and they'll perform better. They don't have to think about how do I look, and they focus on what it is that they're wanting to do. So I feel it ties in.
You should actually help women that are going back in the working field. You know, a lot of women are going through divorce.
Yeah.
And things like that, and they haven't worked in years.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
like Dress for
make them look
Success
and
and
feel
help them
better.
with the makeup and everything.
But
and
does
give
the
them-
makeup open the door for you to regain your security, your
self-confidence?
self-confidence, or does you have to have the self-confidence to use the makeup?
I guess it could vary for each person, but I kind of feel when I feel like I'm put together, and it takes a little bit more for women at times to do that. We're almost expected to look very polished. And I think when you feel your best, the rest will come more naturally and your confidence will increase, I think. Jojo, do you think the same? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you feel better.
Yeah.
Well, you're a businesswoman now, but you've always been Jojo. I mean, to us anyway.
I know.
Because you're bubbly.
I'm not that far from the same person.
So
Just
are
a
you-
little more headaches.
So are you more or the same, or are you the same, or you less?
Well, you know, it's hard to use me as an example because I've always been outgoing. You know, I could talk to anybody about anything and come down to their level on whatever they're talking about. So it's a little bit
Come
different.
down
I'm not
to
a
their
shy
level.
person.
But makeup is more than just.
It gives you security. It makes you feel.
It's more than just lipstick and foundation. It's a whole lot to it. It's almost like war paint that gives you the strength to go. As a woman, I got this. Like I
Right.
can go out and I can conquer, which is silly, right? Because you're the same woman without the makeup than you are with the
Right.
makeup. So you
Right.
should be able to walk in that empowerment and go, I got this, even if your hair's in a ponytail and a baseball cap. But sometimes you just need that makeup. You need that sense of security, that like whoopee around you. Go, I
You
got
know,
this.
it's funny. As a guy, I never, ever, ever look at things that way. A woman to me doesn't need to put on her Superman cape, which is what you're talking about. To
Right.
me, how you carry yourself is how you carry. You could look like Phyllis Dillis, or you could look like a supermodel. It's the same difference to me.
But don't you find after you're done doing a face of makeup that they stand a little straighter, they carry themselves a little bit differently?
Absolutely.
Maybe not on the stars, but on your everyday people, right? Going to a wedding or whatever it is, an event, a
Right.
red carpet. You go, wow.
Absolutely.
Interesting. So college kids should do something to dial themselves up a little bit more to be more confident.
I don't know about college kids. I mean, I think whatever it takes to make someone feel confident and help their self-esteem within reason, of course, they should do.
See, if I
Makes
was a
sense to me.
professor, if I was a professor in college, I'd be bringing all these people in here and says, okay, let's start before we learn. Let's get confident.
Eat better, live better, you know, that type of thing.
Well, you gotta do that type of thing in order to grow and go. And you know, life is all about negotiations. I'm sorry to say, and don't write to me no more. Marriage to me is nothing more than a giant negotiation.
Marriage, how'd you
Marriage.
get back to marriage?
Marriage, because
You agree on that?
It should be like a car lease. Every 4 years, you have the option to renew. And I'll tell you why, because whatever you accumulate in those 4 years, if you go the other way, you split that and everybody goes on.
And you should be able to check the tires every month.
Do you know that DeSantis passed a law this past
DeSantis?
July?
What do you say?
No such thing as permanent alimony anymore.
Oh yeah, we heard about that.
People are grandfathered in. if they already
70%.
have it. Oh yeah.
Do you know, 15 years ago, I was on the board to get rid of that. And they went to NN, and there was a show for 2 years. And we went up to, not Albany, where is it? Tallahassee?
I know women that won't remarry.
They lost.
because of that. Because of that.
Oh, it didn't matter.
But
Back
with
in the
someone, they
day, when
could.
you got married, remarried, didn't matter. You were still on permanent alimony, no matter what. Back
not
in the
now.
day.
Not
No, all
now.
that changed now, but back in the day when they were trying to get that whole thing turned over,
I heard it's 70% and still half of value of, right, total cost and all of that. You still get
Exactly.
50%.
it's a business.
It's 100% a business. The
Everything's
fact that
a
I know
business.
that is scary, right?
No, not surprising whatsoever. But it's a business, and to look yourself the best that you can is a business. And my sister used to doll herself up every day to go to college, Lehman College. And one day I said to her, "What are you doing? You're going to school." And she says, "You never know when you're going to meet Mr. Right."
You never know. Did your mother ever told you to make sure you didn't have holes in your underwear?
I don't remember my mother
Yes, in
telling
case
me
you ever
that.
have an accident.
Right? So
Yeah.
same thing. Always put on your lipstick because you never know who you're going to meet when
Or
you're
you
going to
got
meet
a
My
car
mother never
accident,
told me
go to the
that.
hospital or something like that.
My mother
Right?
used to say, "Make sure you don't have holes in your socks." But
Or that.
That's what she used to say.
But it was interesting. I know we're going to go to commercial break that you had said it really comes down to food, nutrition, water, and sleep.
Right.
Which is all part of it, which all leads into our next segment on the other side of our commercial break. You know what we got in the house?
I know, I'm the one that invited her.
Eat better, live better in the house. But I don't know if we're talking about that. I think we're talking about what you're running
something
for.
else, yes.
But something near and dear to her heart and her platform.
Jojo,
I know
do you
is always
remember?
The kids.
I do. We've met before.
Got Debra Tendrich in the house.
Kendrick was with us at the...
I have a different hair color every couple of weeks, so I don't know if you remember.
Kendrick, I think, was with us at iHeart, too. No?
Deborah had her show with us when we were up at iHeart, the Debra Tendrich show. It's a long
She's
time ago.
another OG.
Oh, gee. All right, more to come on the other side of this commercial break. Get your tickets. Go to events with an S.amp, the number 2.tv. Get your tickets for all of the events that we've got coming up. We've got the Bee Gees on October 12th. We've got Frank and Dean and Friends on October 19th. J.C. Dreesen on November 10th, and more to come. I'm hoping we got Yiddish Papas coming in right before Hanukkah. So a lot of
Yiddish
great
Papa,
stuff. Don't you love that name?
Yeah, I can't remember that.
The Yiddish Papas.
Come down October 12th and meet Jojo.
At the Bee Gees. More to come on the other
Oh,
side
wait a
of this
minute. Are we
commercial
getting
break.
the bus?
Who's your Frank and Dean that you're using?
Johnny T. and Mike Dutra.
Are we getting the bus? Are you going to bring the bus down?
that now.
She's bringing the bus down, and people from Melbourne.
A lot of people want to come down from up by
Bring them. Rent a bus.
And we're going to put some
Do a party bus.
put some wine on the bus so people can boo, boo,
I mean,
boo,
it's not
boo,
a cheap
boo.
thing to do.
Add it into on the top of your ticket price.
Yeah.
All right, more to come. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Do you want the opportunity to have a TV show or podcast? Now, at Amp Media Productions, you can host your very own visual broadcast anywhere around the world. With our talented group of creators, we will provide you with show elements, board operations, and any on-screen visuals you'd like to showcase. All you must do is log onto your computer and communicate with your viewers. Contact Amp Media Productions at 866-224-5422 or email hello@amp2.tv to start your own show today.
For real, take your business, any business, to the next level by joining us at the Global Awaken Trinity Summit. 4 days of opportunities and inside info you don't want to miss, as over 35 celebrity speakers will be live in person to teach you exactly how to make your business take off, grow, and thrive. From marketing tool secrets to the best ways to build relationships, partnerships, and make true connections. Founder Kessa Gooden is putting on this once-in-a-lifetime event, the Global Awaken Trinity Summit VIP Gala and Yacht Mastermind, February 29th through March 3rd, 2024 in Miami, Florida. Registration starts at 9 sharp each day. Bring your business partner, your team, your friends, anyone and everyone who wants real success. For tickets, call 404-992-3971. Tickets will not last, so call now. 404-992-3971. Or visit us online at globalawakenedevents.com, and we will see you there.
Born in Marseille, France, Max Lazega creates whimsical and free-flowing interpretive art. His 40 years in the construction industry created the foundation for his craft. His unique work displays his view of the future with bold and playful combinations of materials and processes, but the methodology remains consistent. He fuses recycled materials and discarded building supplies into a fresh, well-executed approach. Lazega has lived in Miami, Florida most of his life, where he pursues his lifelong passion of creating industrial art. For more information, contact Max Lazega at artworkstudios.org or 786-326-8873.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call Low Cost Airlines. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call now.
Todo Bello Balloons is a business that was born out of a passion for creating unique and beautiful balloon designs, including balloon bouquets, balloon arches, balloon columns, and more. We specialize in creating unique and beautiful balloon designs that bring your dreams into reality. We believe that balloons have the power to bring people together and create lasting memories. And we are honored to be part of that experience. Contact us and we will bring happiness to your celebrations with our balloons.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
You guys ever see those Florida man / Florida woman memes? It seems like we get a news story every day from our state that seems like it's not possible to get any funnier, yet here we are. Today we have a bit of a doozy. We have a Florida man arrested for creating a homemade hamster wheel to travel across the Atlantic Ocean, a woman from Miami in frocks and moccasins in a hospital gown posing as a nurse, stealing an unattended ambulance and taking it for a joyride, and a sharp spike in UFO sightings, 181 in Florida in the last 5 days, has residents feeling stranger things. There are really strange happenings in Florida today that seem incredibly strange, even more so than our state's usual. 44-year-old marathon runner Reza Bellucci created what he deems a bubble, a viable means of transportation across the Atlantic Ocean. He has had 3 separate voyages that have all ended when the Coast Guard was notified about his antics. As officials prepared for a hurricane to strike, they intercepted Bellucci for a 3rd time. In 2021, he was apprehended and saved by the Coast Guard authorities between Jupiter, Florida, and Miami. In 2014, he was nabbed near St. Augustine. According to the BBC, the makeshift contraption he was using was shaped as a hamster wheel, unquote, and it had paddles that were designed to propel it forward as the wheel revolved. Authorities, of course, deemed the vehicle manifestly unsafe, but I suppose it's still better than traveling on that doomed Titan submersible. Hamster wheels don't sink, they're buoyant. They're not meant to be crushed by the unholy pressures of the ocean like the sub that imploded on its way to the Titanic 2 months ago. And with Florida water temperatures over triple digits near Chica Rocks, Florida, off the coast of Esmeralda, it would simply float away. It stays on the surface of the water, not beneath the waves. Of course, nothing could ever be as simple. In previous statements to authorities, Bellucci said he was attempting to navigate the dangerous gambit to raise money for a variety of actually good causes, including, as it turns out, the Coast Guard themselves. Quote, "They are in public service, they do it for safety, and they help other people," he said. This time, however, Bellucci refused to step off his homemade hamster wheel for 3 days and stated that he would kill himself and he had a bomb on board. Unfortunately for him, this is probably to be his last hurrah with this method of experimental travel. He'll be slapped with a terrorism charge for stating that there was a bomb aboard his homemade flotation device when authorities discovered there wasn't and never had been. He also is facing other federal statutes, including obstruction of boarding and a set of violations of the Port Authority. Personally, I think it's his mind that's the hamster wheel. I hope he gets the help he needs. Speaking of a hamster wheel, somehow a woman from Miami, dressed in a nurse's gown, frocks, and moccasins, managed to evade the attention of the hospital staff, steal an idle ambulance, and take it for a joyride in Port St. Lucie. Somehow, someway, Marquisa Allen, 25, was sitting outside the hospital, still in her getup, as ambulance personnel were depositing a patient to the care of a Port St. Lucie hospital, saw the keys were inside, and decided she would like to drive an ambulance as her fantasy joyride. The ambulance was equipped with a GPS tracker, and authorities captured her without incident. She didn't even speed during her wacky ambulance joyride, nor did she flash the emergency lights to go through red lights. She's still expected to be charged with grand theft auto, making false statements to hospital staff and medics, and to police while driving a suspended license and resisting arrest without violence. Somewhere along the Florida I-95 turnpike, she jumped out of the slow-moving ambulance and started running without shoes, still in her hospital getup. She was quickly overtaken and arrested. Additional charges are expected at this point, and she seems like she needs a hospital more than a jail cell. If you thought that the happenings couldn't get any stranger than that, well, there's been a recent rise in UFO sightings in Florida. 181 sightings in the last 5 days, according to the National UFO Reporting Center database and myvision.org. So if you think you might be seeing some alien behavior out of Florida residents, well, don't be too concerned. That's just a daily occurrence here. If you think you saw something, you're not crazy. Some of them are shaped like hamster wheels, and some believe the aliens can shape-shift themselves and their vehicles, say in the form of an ambulance. If Congress decides there are, in fact, live aliens here, they should maybe start with Florida for their active extraterrestrial investigation.
On Mondays, and you meet Sally Bernard and all of her alien antics.
Well, listen, the NFL football season opens up tonight. Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs. And I just found out, I didn't see the last Hard Knocks, but apparently Aaron Rodgers talked about aliens. And
Really?
he talked about UFOs, right? And he talked about how he saw one with his wife in 2014, was it? 2004 or something in there. And he didn't tell nobody.
Did you know Florida had the highest incidence of alien sightings?
I think it's the highest reported incidence. I don't think
Interesting.
anybody, I mean, think about this. If you're somebody and you saw a UFO, would you say it?
Well, we've got Sally and we've got Russ. So right there, we've got,
Well, we know people. But
we know people.
if you saw somebody and you were in Washington State or something, would you call me and say, you don't really what I saw?
No,
Would you do
because
it?
people would tell me, no, it was something else. It's a shooting star. It's a...
That's why Aaron Rodgers never reported it,
True.
because of that.
Interesting.
And now you see all these people are reporting it.
How do you like the human hamster wheel?
You know, those are, I seen those on the beach, big bubbles, but not that hamster wheel. He went across the ocean?
It's like a whole theory on life, the hamster wheel. Like you never get off. It's this constant movement. You just keep going on. You like spin your wheels. I told you that over the weekend. I was spinning my wheels. I totally spun my wheels, like on the hamster wheel.
We should have that instead of cars. Everybody
Hamster
gets
wheel.
into the hamster
You get
wheel,
exercise for
and-
sure.
And you sort of move your hands and the damn thing turns and you go.
You get some exercise. Nice job, Ethan. We're going to be putting him on our newsletter as well to do some of these hot topics and things we talk about.
Interesting.
Aliens.
So our next guest, I went to see a movie. I went to see Golda at the Movies in Del Rey. And lo and behold, they had
Rabbi
a
Silver.
rabbi. You know Rabbi Silver? He seems to know you.
I don't think so.
Yeah. He knows about the cafe. And then he said...
That's not me.
Well, he knows you and you're half of the cafe. He said, yeah, I know doing very well. And they just shook my head. But our next guest, he pointed her out and named her. And I'm looking back there, I go, wait a minute.
I know her.
I know that name. Then I turn around and I see her. I go, I know that lady. So I waited and I came up and I introduced myself. And she's going to tell us what she's doing right now because there's more than when we first met her. We met you about 7 years ago. 6, 7 years ago.
We were
right?
back in iHeart. She had the Debra Tendrich show, and she was really just launching Eat Better, Live Better. My gosh, your daughter was so little, and she was working with, it was Michelle, she's now Matluck, but Dempsey at the time, and a lot of OGs from when you and
Michelle
I first started.
Dempsey, yes, I remember that.
Right?
She had a show too. Everybody had a show. It was like everybody had a show.
But now everyone's reinventing and doing their own thing.
So welcome to the show. Welcome to the house.
She's never been to this studio.
This is my first time here.
And tell us a little bit about the new invented Kendrick move.
Debra.
What are you doing? I mean, Debra?
Deborah
What's her last name?
Tendrich.
That's what I said, Tendrich move. What did I say, Kendra? Oh. I have Kendra in my mind for this afternoon. So tell us about your latest and greatest, what you're doing now.
Well, I'm actually your candidate for Florida House District 89.
How did that come to be?
Well, you know what I do in the community. I work with families who can't afford to eat. I do nutrition education, and in 2020, we started feeding people, but we feed the hunger, not the disease, so it's healthier groceries. And during that transition, when you actually get into people's, I guess, finances and economic status and hardships, we also created a social services program where we are not only feeding people, but we're helping them find housing, pay for down payment assistance. We're helping them, if they can't feed their pets, feed their pets.
You're doing all of this now.
Dental, if they can't afford dental work, yeah. If they are sleeping on the floor and need help with a mattress. If you're,
How are you doing all of this? That's amazing.
So we have a social services coordinator now. We've grown a lot. We've fed over 200,000 people since 2020. We've given over 2 million pounds of groceries. And during that time working with the community, everyone says, I need you to be my bridge to Tallahassee. And I did run for city commission in 2020 and I lost, but that was like my trial run. And I really found a passion in making changes in people's lives, not just on the ground in the trenches with them every day, but in policy that can really make huge strides for their quality of life in multiple capacities. So I'm looking forward to really being the bridge between the community and Tallahassee.
And we're still doing Eat Better, Live Better. You're still doing your food and helping with the food insecurities in the community?
Yeah, 100%. I'm not going to quit that. But I have created a really great team that I trust that is helping move the organization forward and expanding and growing. I have Kristen. She's our Director of Fundraising and Partnerships. I have Michelle. She's our family coordinator. I have Lee, she's a volunteer and she does our pet food coordination. I have Jackie, who's on our board, but she also does our social services.
Wow.
We have Tanya, who's our warehouse manager. So we have a really good team.
You have a warehouse too?
Yeah, we're growing. We have 2,000 square feet.
Wow.
And honestly, that space isn't enough.
Sure.
We are looking for a larger space, but we're kind of staying put right now because property insurance and price of property
Everything.
is insane right now. So we have to be fiscally responsible as a nonprofit. So we're going to stay on site. But because of the space issues with only 2,000 square feet, we have a lot of programs we've actually created to go out into the community and really merge food and medicine.
And what's the platform that you're really working on for District 89?
Well, there's a lot of concerns in the community, from education to women's rights to obviously just being able to put food on your table right now. People aren't able to afford to live. We have a lot of seniors right now that are being priced out of home ownership because of the cost of property insurance, because their bills are going up and they're on fixed incomes. Right now in hurricane season. So what happens if all these uninsured homes, especially mainly seniors who can't afford to keep up with that cost, they're either being canceled or losing their insurance, and a storm comes and demolishes their home. Who's going to help rebuild them? Who's going to be there to support them if they can't afford the insurance? How can they afford to rebuild? And so you have people making life-changing decisions between food, light bills, these rising costs because their incomes aren't rising fast enough with the cost of living. We have education. We have a huge teacher shortage. There's so many different things that are crucially important to quality of life and just being able to be able to sustain the economy, small business support. We have small businesses who are suffering because as they can't increase their prices, but their profit margins are shrinking, so they're not able to have as much staff, or they're having to do things that, are just putting their own business at risk, because if they double their prices to keep up with the cost to run the business, they'll lose all their business.
True.
So we have a lot of concerns that are not just district-wide, but these are statewide problems that are affecting everyone. And as a state legislature, I can help create policies and opportunities for some of these things to provide relief, or to create policies or guardrails to protect people from being in these situations.
I mean, the district that you're in, you talk about a different population. It's not a Boca population of socioeconomics. You're looking at Green Acres, you're looking at Lake Worth. I know Atlantis is in there, but it's totally different. These people need food and housing help. You've got a lot of migrant workers out there. What's it like, and I don't even normally do politics, you're a Democrat working with a Republican governor, and we all know DeSantis and what he's doing. What does that look like for you?
Okay, so I don't know what's going to happen in the 2024 election, but right now it's a supermajority, obviously. So it's brutal for a Democrat. However, I have built bipartisan relationships through my work in the community, and I have built trusting relationships in the community. So I'm actually receiving a lot of bipartisan support, not because we have fundamental beliefs that are the same, but because we do differ a lot. But they believe that I could actually maybe bring humanity back into politics, create conversations across party lines. Maybe just because a Republican says a policy doesn't mean it's bad. Just because a Democrat says a policy doesn't mean it's good, right? So I think that I come without any bias, because really my goal in life from the ground is to make people's quality of life better. I also am in the trenches, so I see policies differently. I don't think there's anyone in the House really that works with people in poverty, people who have lost everything, who went from rags to riches or riches to rags, right? So I have literally every single type of person that I could see how policies affect them through experience.
This is such an amazing aspect.
I was going to ask you, it's the biggest challenge you have facing right now is getting that population to vote?
No.
Did they come out?
Yeah, I mean, voters, when there's something that drives them, they vote. When they have somebody that they can support, something they believe in. You know, there's some things that are coming on the ballot that we're really trying to, getting abortion back on the ballot, clean water on the ballot, right to clean water. There's a lot of things that are just important. If you look at the education system, getting rid of diversity, equity, inclusion out of education, out of the workforce, things like that are driving people. I have a lot of experience in working with education, right? So in the colleges, getting rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion, not being able to talk about race and culture the same way prevents a lot of professions like social work, like criminal justice. These things actually rely on diversity, equity, inclusion to do the job the best you can. So educators are leaving, but they're going to come out to vote because they're not happy with being scared to teach, being scared to talk, not getting fair pay, having to work a second job. I just talked to a professor the other day. She lost she has her job, but she can't sustain her household on a $55,000 a year income anymore. So she now is 60 years old, living with a roommate, and she has a second job. There's no reason that these teachers who are really educating the future should be put in these positions where they can't even afford to eat, and they have to come through my doors.
It's true. Yeah, teachers to be paying $55,000 a year at 60 years old and sustain your lifestyle, right? And you're educating the youth who's going to run our country. University of Florida, they just did a poll, came out there, the top public university with school in New Jersey, they're number 15 out of the top 100. And I know about 2,000 professors left because of the equity and inclusion problems that they're having.
So teachers are leaving. Actually, we have a huge teacher shortage right now. My daughter hasn't had a teacher in one of her classes for a whole month. She's been taught by Duolingo in her Spanish class because they need teachers desperately in these schools.
Yeah.
And if you look at what's coming up with the voucher program, where the private school students are now eligible to receive $8,000 per student, but that money should go to public schools. A lot of these vouchers are going to families who don't actually need the support, but they qualify for it. And I look at my publicly funded schools now, these private schools to me become public schools because they're taking public money to support them.
Did you ever think you'd be in politics?
No.
No, because right, your degree in social work, you told me you're on the board with FAU.
No degree in social work, I'm just on their board.
Okay.
But social work is an extremely important, crucial profession that a lot of this legislation is affecting.
You've always been a negotiator, always. And now you're being a negotiator at a bigger level. And now you're going to make your plate even bigger because I'm sure that when you win this time, you're going to go to something even bigger because it needs to be heard. I mean, that you're telling people having the right to have clean water, to have food, to have services. Sometimes I scratch my head about some of the things that they're taking out, things for the school. My sister was a teacher and she was treated poorly. She would have taken $50,000 a year when she started. It was under 20. It was the most ridiculous thing in New York City. It was crazy.
When I was a teacher, I was 22 because I had a master's.
Yeah, she didn't have a master's. Then she went to school to get a master's. But the funny thing is that with our teachers, you see what's happening with the temperature. So they had to shut the schools down because it's 170 degrees in these schools up north. They don't have any AC.
They have no AC. I cannot even believe that's a thing.
Because I didn't have AC when I
Yeah,
went
but that
to
was
school.
a long time ago.
It wasn't 107 degrees. But now they're sending them home. So now the parents are screaming because they don't have a plan B to having the kids come home. They're going to have to come home. And what about work? And yada,
Right,
yada.
they're changing the times. There's no AC.
It's just unbelievable that people have a tunnel vision towards problems.
You know what's so great about Debra is you started not doing this. You're not an attorney. You're not a politician. You started who you are as a mom. And you're like, you know what? This isn't right. We need to get better food to our families. And then it grew from there. It was just an organic movement of, you know what? there's better out there in our community, and we all need to come together. And now you're running, and you're gonna win because you've built such a platform, and I love that you've got bipartisan support because food and humanity and clean water is not political.
She's a parent.
This is,
She's not a-
it's human, it's the right of being a human being.
I don't want to look at her as a politician. I look at her as a parent,
Right?
as a mom.
As a mom.
That's the name
As
of
a
the game.
person.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
honestly, to be honest, you know, legislation isn't about being right, isn't about proving a point. And that's what I see politics turning into right now. They really have human faces attached to each policy, whether it's a positive or negative impact, right? So I have to look at each policy and piece of legislation as how it's affecting each human face that I'm going to touch, my constituents, because when you go into politics to prove a point, to be right, for control, for power, and not really for the best interests of people, even people who don't vote for me are going to be my constituents. I have to do what's best interest for them too. So I want to talk to everyone. I want to make sure that I know what's important to everyone, because the better foundation I have, the better I can advocate in Tallahassee for the community as a whole. But every neighborhood, every community, every demographic has different needs too. So it's so important for me to reach out to every single group of people, every single neighborhood and community, because I need to know what's important to you.
If you could write a piece of legislation, I'm sorry, your first piece of legislation, what would it be?
Boy, you know, that's a loaded question. Obviously, I'd want to reinstate women's rights to choose. It's doing a lot, not just to, it's okay to believe something or not believe something, but you can't trample on someone else's beliefs and take away their rights. So a lot of doctors are even talking to me about how it's almost putting them in a position, this legislation, to violate their Hippocratic oath, because they're now having to worry about the law versus what's really in the best interest for the mom. You know, and most abortions typically take place within the, 15-week period. The exceptions are the ones that do not. And so you can't make legislation based on exceptions. You have to let medical professionals do it. Legislators have no business in the operating room. They have no business in the medical room. And whether you're against it for whatever belief it is, you're not the only belief system out there. And you have to respect other viewpoints, whether it makes you happy or not. You and I are never going to agree on everything, but at some point I have to say, well, it's not hurting me personally. So I have to respect that, it is your decision. The other legislation would be to make sure that we have more opportunity for affordable housing, and really put your foot to the fire when it comes to making sure that people have places to live. Working on the property insurance crisis right now. People.
That's crazy.
People are either selling their homes, they're moving out of the state, they're being priced out of home ownership. People without mortgages are losing their homes. Condo association fees are extra astronomical. People just can't. We're going to lose our workforce. So, I was talking to some of the current senators and state reps right now. Can we put a fund together, at least for the senior citizens, on a fixed income? They're not hiring 80-year-olds. A lot of them have chronic conditions where they can't work, and a lot of them don't have family support. They're alone.
Right.
So how are they going to make more money to sustain their households?
Right. You're looking at Social Security of what, $1,200, $1,300 a month if you're
Right.
lucky to live on that.
Yeah, but the insurance thing is just so out of whack right now. People are just abandoning houses. They're walking away because they can't afford it.
Yeah, we just got our renewal on our homeowners insurance. Besides, it went up a ridiculous amount. They took out flood. They took out water. And there's all these carve-outs and amendments and changes that you have to call, and that, well, you can have it if you buy a flood policy. But then you need to buy a sinkhole policy, because they'll only cover a certain amount if your house falls in a sinkhole. So then you need the separate sinkhole policy, and then you need the separate this policy. So it's there if you layer it, and it's only 125 more here, and it's only 176 here, and you're looking at another 1,000 on top of the increase. So they're being very specific, and that's if you're fortunate enough to have a policy.
Well, it's funny because when I worked for Charlie Rangel, and Charlie was in charge of the Ways and Means Committee in this country, he used to write the checks. He used to sign the checks for everything that they had to spend. And Charlie used to say to me, Charlie didn't speak any Spanish. And I was on 181st Street in Manhattan. And I was the only Spanish-speaking kid in there. Now, I was a freshman in college at NYU. And there were times that Charlie didn't want to talk to the public. And this is why I'm saying, I look at you as a mom. I look at you as, listen, I'll wait an hour, 2 hours, because you have a lot of constituents, and you got to wait your turn and everything else. You can't talk to everybody, and this you have to be in Tallahassee and back and forth. But I rather talk to her as a person, because Charlie, to me, when I used to talk to him, man, was like I was talking to a president. Because Charlie never was alone. He always had 100 people around him, and he was always signing things. So when I worked for him, it was the Cold War. And WABC called in, and they wanted to get Charlie's opinion about how to treat the Russians. Yeah. So I went and I knocked on the door. I think I told you this story. I said, Charlie, WABC's on the phone. They want to talk to you about this. He says, I don't got time for that. So I go back. I told the guy, listen, he's in the meeting. Well, tell us your opinion. You want my opinion? I told him, bomb him. He came running out, screaming, took the phone. He says, what's the matter with you? I mean, sometimes you got to go to extremes to be heard. And in politics, it really chokes you when you think nobody's listening, that there's nobody there, because they're either up here and you feel like you're down here and you don't get anything done.
What I love about Debra, though, is you're in the trenches. You've walked the walk. You see what the community needs. Now, is there anyone running against you, or the incumbent?
No, the incumbent is termed out.
Okay.
Dave Silvers, he's termed out. I do have a Republican opponent right now, but I'm not primaried. So, I just really hope that we can keep it respectful and clean. I don't want either of us to be affected after the election, because if you think about it, either I'm going to represent him or he's going to represent me. I just have a huge amount of support in the district. So it is looking like my favor, but
it's in November?
It is next year, November.
24.
Yeah, it's a marathon. But that gives me time to build relationships, talk to people, see what's important to them, and get a really good foundation for the community. It's a presidential election. A lot of the voting laws have changed. So in case anyone doesn't know, the entire vote by mail system is gone. So if you, it's not gone, but they canceled, right? they canceled every single vote by mail applicants. So you have to re-register if you're a vote by mail. If you like to vote by mail, you do have to go on, update your registration, and request a vote by mail ballot. So that's going to affect a lot of people because the message isn't reaching everyone. So especially the senior community. So a lot of the communities don't understand that they have to go back on to the supervisor election website to call, but you do have to re-register for vote by mail. And this election, you have to learn who is running and learn their platform, talk to them, and make an educated voting decision. Because if you're not happy what's happening right now, or something's affecting you and you don't speak up, then they don't know how it's affecting you. The people who represent you need and require the community's input for them to make a decision. I'm not everywhere, and no legislator is. So how can I know how it's affecting if you don't communicate with me?
It's true. I love her platform. And just that where you came from and where you are now. I'm like this proud mom. Like, I'm so proud of you because you're walking the walk, and your daughter should be so proud of. I mean, you've set such an amazing example for your daughter also to see, with hard work and determination and really believing in what you do. You can be anything. I mean, you're like a walking Barbie, like the Barbie motto. You can be anything that you want to be if you believe you can. You're a single mom. You're raising your daughter. And you've been doing this since she was little. It's not like she's grown and you're doing this as an older person.
And she's always doing something for somebody else. It's one thing about Debra that I got to tell you that I admire. You do things. She's always worked to better somebody else. That she could pick to be anything else that she wants. She could open up her own business and become a business owner and blah, blah. But she's always put others in front, to help others and everything else. And I think that's an important value to what's going on right now. And everybody's always talking to me, Cintorn, we're going to do about change. Well, here you have a change. And shame on you if you don't come out and you vote for change. Simple. I love the fact that she was there that night and she was pointed out. Everybody knows Debra. She's got to know everybody and everybody's got to know her, but there's nothing wrong with that. She's always been, ever since iHeart, she's always been like this.
She's authentically who she is.
Exactly.
Which is so great.
And the only reason I'm doing it is because the community asked me to. It's not like I just woke up and said, I'm going to tell you I'm running. I had people actually recruit me and make
Wow.
sure, and it's not one group, it's the community. They're like, you hear me, I want you to hear me in Tallahassee. And these are no strings attached, no ask. These are just people from all different walks of life, different demographics that just say they see me there.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And, you know, I owe so much to Florida because a lot of people, you know, I'm starting to be more open about this, but in 2012, I moved here from Atlanta with a suitcase and my daughter. I started from scratch living in a domestic violence situation. And so when I moved here, I was able to really find my purpose. So I actually owe Florida my success, my new start to life, all the relationships I built, but I really found my purpose here in Florida. And so everything I can do to give back to Florida, to all the neighbors that I'll be serving, it's really important to me to make the biggest impact possible because it impacted me more than anyone I ever know.
That's amazing.
I think Florida owes you a thank you for everything you've done for it. I see it the other way. You came down here and you made a mark, but you've never done it only for you. You've done it for everybody. You've touched everybody. Everybody back in the day knew you. Now they're going to know you more. But it's never been hey, look at me only. Look, you never did that. Even when you had your show, you never did it. You used to bring on people onto the show and everything else. So I think Florida owes you a thank you. Now, with the election coming, they have a chance to pay that back.
It's a great story, a
Thank
huge
you.
women empowerment story. It's just amazing. And one of our crew, Abraham, months ago was talking about wanting to write an article on food insecurity and what it's like in Florida. So maybe I can have them interview her and we can put it out in the newsletter.
I think it's 100% nice, absolutely. You know, it's different when you walk in the walk. It's different when you're involved in domestic violence. It's different when you're on the other side of the tracks and you got somebody else saying, oh, let's do away with this, let's do away with that, we don't need this. You ain't been there. And if you ain't been there, you don't know what it tastes like.
It's like Diaz for sheriff. You must know him, but.
But you know, I mean, the whole new situation that's coming about politically is, I think this is going to be the biggest political November that ever hit this country for a lot of different reasons, good, right, wrong, or indifferent. But you know something, put your head on and focus on what's important to you, not Papi Chulo and everybody else around you who have nothing to do with your life. And the person you're going to be able to bring in there, you want to be able to talk to them, relate to them, and understand them. And if you can't do that, then get educated.
And I think part of it, too, is you have to think back to what it was like maybe when you were of childbearing years, because we're not now, but our kids are. What it looks like, it may not affect you now, but what if it had been then? And what if it's your child or your grandchild that's denied access to care and there's a critical emergency situation? You wouldn't want that. You wouldn't have wanted to be in that situation. Now that you're older and it doesn't matter, it does matter because you lose humanity.
It's funny you say that because there was a time when I used to politically fight with my two kids, my two boys, politically. And then one day I sat down and I said, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to listen. And I listened to their point of views, and I listened. And today, I'm happy to say that they understand where I come from, and now they're on my side of the tracks. Because all of a sudden, things don't look rosy anymore on the other side of the tracks, and they've changed. And you don't need to fight with one another to be heard. Listen to both sides and figure out what works for you, man.
The humanity is really the key, right? We all need food, we all need clean water, we all need housing, we all need a safe place to live, we all need a way to send our kids to school in a safe environment. That's bipartisan, that's just humanity.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because when I meet someone new and they say, are you a Democrat or Republican?
Right.
I say, if you are okay with it, can we talk about the issues first and then see if my party is important? Because a lot of times if you take the title Republican or Democrat out, we all have the same purpose, the same intention, the same concerns. Just, you can get to the number 5 multiple ways. 1 + 4, 2 + 3. The way you add up to 5 can be different, but it's still the same result. So ultimately, we all want the same thing. We want public safety. We want education. We want health care. We want, safe places to live, be able to have, like you said, clean air, clean water. Rights, equity, inclusion, all these things are very, very important. And the country is based on diversity. From one person to the next, everyone's different from different countries, different cultures, different religions, different backgrounds. it's just so important to make sure that everyone can understand that and come together and really just come for the same purpose of making people's lives better and understanding perspective. The reason you feel that way is because of your experiences, what your parents taught you, what you have gone through. I feel the same way for the same reason. So if I listen to why you came to that conclusion and then you listen to why I came to that conclusion, you might see why I feel the same way, just like with you and your kids.
Absolutely.
And those conversations aren't being had right now across party lines. So I used to joke and say, what if we just took out party and just had people? I mean, we look at politics differently.
How about the people party? Where is District 89?
It's Green Acres, Lake Worth, Lake Clark Shores, Atlantis, Palm Springs, and West Palm up to Southern. It goes east to Dixie and just west past Military. However, state seats are different from local seats. What I can do can affect all Floridians, and I can bring appropriated funds into the district and the county.
Wow.
By co-sponsoring bills and things like that. So even if I'm not in your district and you like my ideology, you think you like my platform, I don't care if it's a rep in Micanopy, Florida, that has nothing to do with you. They have something to do with you. State seats are important. If you find someone to support, you need to support them all over the state. Just because whatever I do will affect you, ultimately, no matter what part of Florida you're in.
It's true.
Fantastic.
You know, did you see in the news how that kid Santos from Long Island got into Congress? And they had an investigation, and he lied about everything. He lied about his sneaker size all the way to his parents' name, immigration, the whole nine. But do you know, the thing that disturbs me more than anything else is that the party kept him in place because they needed his vote for a slim majority. And that's why they kept him there. And they say, yeah, we heard all this, but now that it's come to light and they got to get rid of him, he throws the balance of slim majority equality until they can get somebody else in there to win that seat. But you know, politics is an ugly game, man, because it stops making you a person until it affects you.
Right.
And once it affects you, then the game changes. If you get affected by even a policy you put out there and it affects you negatively in your life, in your family, you begin to change. And all these people that were saying it's okay because they wanted that slim, now they're paying the price because people saying you lied to me. And in politics, when you lie, it comes back to haunt you 7 times over. That's the problem. That's why our youth don't want to vote. They're so disgusted with what's going on. They'd rather just turn their bike on the whole system and then here it goes again. Because the ones that are in control, they know that they can keep it going the way it's going. You want change. Always telling us we want change. Yep. You're looking at it.
Yep.
And here it is. You got a person. You got to reach out for it. Yeah. You got to make an effort. Even if you're not in her district and you want to help out, you want to volunteer, whatever it takes to do, give her a call, set something up with her people. I think it's just a great idea all the way around.
561-291-9169. Debra, Debra, forhouse.com. I love it. I'm so glad you're here.
I appreciate that. And, you know, people have lost elections by 1 vote. And people start to think sometimes that their vote doesn't count because in the presidential election, it's the Electoral College where it's not the popular vote. So you might see 2 million extra votes for this candidate, but the other candidate won. So because that's the biggest turnout for the presidential election, people forget that state seats, governor seats, city municipal seats are not like that. Every single vote counts. And the state seats, we make those policies and legislation that affect your life. You know, you have to go all the way down the ballot. Don't just stop at the presidential, don't just check off who you want for president. You have to go all the way down the ballot. You'll have the judicial races, you'll have the state races, the Senate races. You have so many different down ballot options to check. Don't just stop at the president. You have to go down and learn who is running and pick the best choice for your belief system. I do hope in my district they all vote for Debra Tendrich for House.
Absolutely. I'm so excited for you. Anything we can do to help you out,
well,
you let us know.
Donate. You know, contributions are really, really critical for us to get our communications and messaging out to the community. So, the maximum donation is $1,000, but I want to meet people where they are. If they can, Obama won with $1 donation equals $1 vote, right? So he knew that people couldn't afford $1,000; they can afford $25, $10, and so I just need contributions and support, whether it's volunteers to knock on doors with me, make phone calls, financial contributions, and you can even attend my campaign kickoff, which is on September 21st from 6 to 8 at Sushi Joe in Lake Clark Shores, which is off Forest Hill.
That's not too far from you, right? You're out in Wellington.
It's literally right across my house.
Oh, Josh is sitting
I'll
there
see you
too.
there.
I didn't even know Josh was there.
There's a sushi boat and there's me. So if you haven't met me, that'll be a great opportunity to meet me. That'll be a great opportunity to meet some of my supporters and to just basically be a part of the election process.
Well, you give hope to a younger generation. You give hope to their generation and your generation that, you know what, there is still people out there fighting for humanity and mankind.
Thank you.
And I love that.
Yep. And that's important because this stuff affects you and your backyard. Presidential and all that I get, but when you start to stop forgetting that the ones that are actually going to do something with your kids, the school district and everything else, it all begins local.
It all starts with you.
And you can't be reactive. In stuff like this, you have to be proactive.
Yeah.
You have to get ahead of it. Once it happens to you, it's so much harder to get out of and reverse it. So you really have to, get ahead of it and be proactive in this process.
So thank you so much
Thank
for joining
you.
us.
I appreciate
wow.
you.
What a nice way to end the show.
See?
I love that.
You say, who's coming today?
Jojo was wondering, and you're like, you never know.
I told her people come in here all the time.
All the time.
So it's so good.
But it was great. So check out anything you can for Debra. Support her. Even if she's not in your district, you can support her foundation, her campaign. It's all about humanity and giving back. And it's all for our kids, right? And human rights. We should really take politics out of being people.
Yeah, be a person.
Right? There's no I in team. There's no people in politics.
Yeah,
I don't know. We could come up with a new slogan.
Like the funny thing is that if The Rock says vote this way, you go that way, have a conscience. Just think about what affects you the most.
You and your kids.
Just you and your kids. Look, and I'm going to tell you, you could throw a stone around you. There's a lot of negative stuff going on right now. So I don't want to hear, I don't know what to do, because you do. You're suffering it right now. So
we're going to wrap this up. Jojo, thank you for joining us. And Nina from Cheers on the Beach up in Melbourne Beach. If you're up that way, go check out this amazing restaurant and definitely get their French fries.
Excellent.
More to come. She's building a second one on the beach, and then events.amp2.tv. We've got a great list of events coming to you for fall, starting with the Bee Gees on October 12th. October 19th, we've got Frank, Dean, and Friends with Johnny T. and Mike Dutra, Frank Sinatra, and Dean Martin. And then we've got the amazing J.C. Dreesen on November 10th. And part of the proceeds go back to benefit our veterans in honor of Veterans Day. And then the surprise, hopefully, we've got Georgie Lakatos and
the Papas.
The Yiddish Papas coming on December 6th to the movies of Delray to kick off the Hanukkah and Christmas holiday season. So more to come. Just check out events.amp2.tv. We'll see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. drive time. Have a great day. Be kind to each other.
Don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Broken Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.